Welcome to Connecting the Dots, the official Securitas podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Connecting the Dots podcast. I am Marina, Amancio.
And I'm Carin Andersson. And with us today, we have Cecilia Alenius.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Connecting the Dots.
Yes, welcome.
Can you please tell us who is Cecilia Alenius?
So I have been in the company for a very long time, over 21 years now, in different roles.
Oh, nice.
And in this role, as the Group Sustainability Officer, I've been doing it since 2012.
All right.
And before that?
I was a controller, a financial controller at Securitas AB.
Okay, but today is all about sustainability. So I want to know, let's start basic here. What is sustainability? Because in my mind, it was only like all about the environment, carbon footprint. Can you tell us what is sustainability?
Yeah, you're right. You can say that's where it started with manufacturing companies. And it was a lot about environmental issues. And then on the other hand, we had the corporate social responsibility, or CSR, that was more about community involvement. But now it's really broad. It's everything from human rights and working conditions to business ethics to environment and community involvement.
All right.
Cool. So when we talk about sustainability, there are so many acronyms and expressions. And for instance, you mentioned CSR just now. And there's ESG and you have PPP.
Sounds like a lot. I have no idea what you just said. So enlighten us, Cecilia, please.
I haven't heard PPP. That was why I just paused.
Exactly. It's not a new one. So yes, it's true. Many nice acronyms and expressions. So ESG, for example, that's used quite a lot now. That's environment, social, and governance. So that covers everything. So environment is environment, social is around the people, and governance is around business ethics and the governance of companies. And that's used a lot by investors, for example. CSR, we talked about a little bit before, corporate social responsibility. And as I said, in the beginning, it was a lot about community involvement and charity. And then it was used more for the work that companies did. But now I think most people would talk about sustainability and not so much CSR anymore. And then we have the PPP, that was new to you. That's people, planet, profit, or triple bottom line. But it's a little bit the same thing, that you have to work with the whole company. It's not enough to do just one thing.
Nice.
It's not only profit, or it's not only planet or environment. You have to work with all parts in the company.
Okay.
And then we have the SDGs, for example. That's the UN's Sustainability Development Goals that a lot of companies are working with. We have the UN Global Compact, which is a framework that you can sign up to and then work through them with sustainability. We have the SBT, which is a science-based target, which is an environmental target, etc., etc.
All right.
There's so much to keep an eye on,
right? I mean,
to remember.
Yeah, I knew the SDGs. I feel like they were really promoted when I was studying. So I remember the Sustainable Development Goals being they're on a website. We talk about the ones that we are that we have a focus on and everything. But, besides the obvious that, this is a very important topic, why do companies have to work with this, really?
Well, if you look at it, companies are not sort of isolated entities that are alone. They are part of society and part of the world, and we have to do our part when it comes to sustainability.
Right on.
And that's in the word as well. We talked about what is sustainability, and it's long term. It's not something that you do in a quarter or in a year even. It's many years and maybe forever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And why does Securitas have to work with this? I mean, when did we start working with this?
I mean, we've always had our values, and they are the base for our sustainability work, you could say. And now we also have our great purpose, which fits really well into this.
That's cool. Yeah, we help make your world a safer place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And as I said before, I mean, we're a company, we're part of society, and we want to do the right thing and do our share, and that's important to us. But I should also say that this is not something that we do sort of on the side, or that it's totally not connected to our operations. This is something that we do every day, and it's integrated into what we do. And again, we have a long-term focus with this.
Yeah.
Isn't it hard to decide on where to put your effort? It's such a broad area, and where can you have the most impact? I guess that's part of the questions that you have.
Yes, and it's a really good question, and that's one that we are struggling with a little bit. But that's the thing, we have to focus. We cannot do everything. It's impossible. Yeah. We don't have the resources, and maybe it's not even relevant for us to do everything. So that's what we're working a lot with now, what to focus on, what is most important for us and for our stakeholders, like our clients, our employees, our investors, or others that are, important for us as a company.
Right. And where you can make the difference, I guess, too, right? Like where you're actually going to have the impact, as you said. So you're putting the effort where you're actually going to see results and help out.
Exactly.
And I would say that in a lot of cases, it's the companies that drive the change in society. It's not always the countries or the states or the regulators. Right. Sometimes it is actually the companies
for sure
that do the work.
Yeah, that is
That's
important,
true.
what you just said now. But I mean, of course, I guess sustainability has changed a lot in the past years. How did that happen? Maybe even after the pandemic, is there some kind of trends that you see something coming up different now?
I say it's changing all the time and it's evolving. And right now, environment is very much in focus because of what the world looks like, and especially now, for example, with a bit of an energy crisis. And here again, we all have to chip in and help because it's getting quite urgent. But for us, something that became so important and so prioritized during the pandemic was our health and safety work. Yeah. Most of our employees cannot work from home. They're in the front line. So we had to make sure that they were safe out there.
So I'm really curious about this focus that you mentioned and what we in Securitas are doing and what we can do for the future. So can you please tell us more about that?
Yes, sure.
Before Cecilia say anything, we're going to call out the break now. But, right after the break, we can do this deep dive in what Securitas is doing about sustainability. How does that sound?
What a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's
Good.
That's what we're doing here. So see you soon.
Good point.
You're listening to Connecting the Dots.
April 22nd is Earth Day and is an annual event to demonstrate support for environmental protection. Let's remind ourselves more than ever that we need a shift to a more sustainable economy that works for both people and the planet. There are many ways we can make the difference as individuals. You can eat more plant-based meals, choose eco-friendly products, save energy at home, or even take a bike instead of driving a car. From the electricity we use to the food we eat and the way we travel, we can make a difference.
Okay, everyone, now we're back from the break and we're going to do a deep dive in what Securitas does related to sustainability. And I know we just released a new sustainability strategy and I wanted to know more about it. Cecilia, what's new? What's happening?
Good question, Marina. Yes, we did. The board of directors approved our strategy in December last year. And there we have 6 focus areas, like we talked about before. We have to focus, and we have now decided on 6 different focus areas that we are going to work with.
That sounds a lot.
Not if you, like we talked about before. There's so much to do.
Okay.
So I think 6. 6 is a good number.
It's a good number. Okay,
it's a good number.
Good.
Which are they? I want to know.
Yeah, we are a people company. We have so many employees. So, of course, the focus is on our people. So it's diversity, health and safety, development, but then also environment, ethical conduct, and community involvement.
Right. So we have a little bit of, what we talked in the beginning, how everything started with sustainability. And we have this new approach of, seeing other areas where you can make a difference and help out. Cool.
Right.
How are we going to do all of that? I'm curious. Are you curious?
I have so many questions for you. I don't know where to start, but I will try to keep this structured. Of course, I'm curious. I'm just trying to understand. Okay, do we have targets? How do we measure? What does it look like today? And I have so many questions for you, Cecilia.
Yeah.
So where to start?
So if I just briefly explain the different focus areas, and then we can get back to the targets.
Nice.
Yeah. So as I said, diversity and inclusion is one focus area, and it's really important for us. That's a way to attract and retain people. And we have a diverse workforce. We have everybody in our workforce.
Yeah.
And we have to use this fantastic resource in the best way. And what is important here is that we should get the best person for the job. So maybe it's a little bit of a culture shift, and maybe managers have to be a little bit brave and look outside or go outside their comfort zone,
Right.
and choose somebody who they normally wouldn't choose for a job.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. It's not easy to do something differently.
No, that's right. And we're such a big company, so change sometimes takes a little bit of time here.
An effort.
And then it has to take some time.
Yeah.
As we talked about in the beginning, this is for the long term.
Yeah.
So, but we have to start. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's the attitude, really.
Yeah.
If we just wait, to have the perfect plan or something, like you don't really never start. So
True.
awesome.
That's really true.
Yeah.
And one way of doing it is that we're going to have a diversity and inclusion index. So there's going to be an employee survey. And in that survey, questions about diversity and inclusion will be included. And from those questions, then can create this index.
That's really
that will
good.
be a base
Yeah.
for a target, probably.
Ah, nice.
That's really
Okay,
good.
cool. And okay, so that's one of the focuses. We have 5 others to cover.
Right. So the next one is health and safety.
Right.
And as we talked about before, that's really important for us and was even more important during the pandemic. And here we want to keep our people safe, both when it comes to physical health and mental health. And also to remember that we don't work in our own premises always. We're normally in clients' premises. So we have to work together with our clients when it comes to health and safety.
So it's not only about keeping ourselves safe, it's also about keeping the client safe.
Yes,
in many cases.
also.
Yes.
But then we have to work together with our clients to make sure that if we see a risk or a hazard, for example,
Right.
that they have to help us fix it.
Have that collaboration.
Yes. And what is important here is that we assess the risks that there might be on a site, that injuries or incidents are reported, and that there are good follow-ups and very clear responsibility.
And the third focus area?
That's development. Again, with our large number of people that we are, and also the way that we are moving with our strategy. So maybe going from selling only guarding hours to selling solutions and moving up the value chain, then it's really important that we train and develop our employees. So we have the skilled people that we need to be able to sell the new services.
Yeah.
Isn't it also about people feeling that they develop and actually can, do a career and progress and so on?
Absolutely.
Company?
That's really important, Carin. Yes. And I truly believe that if you see that you have a chance to develop and you get trained, that you also stay longer in the company.
Right.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that resonates a lot with the younger generations, as I said a couple of times here in this podcast. And then we have environments, which makes total sense, as everything else too. But coming back from the history we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah, sure. But we're a service company and our climate impact isn't great. But we have to do what we can, even if it's not so big, our impact. But we have to do what we can do. So we're actually looking at setting an environmental target right now. It's not been decided completely yet, but we're almost there. And for us, it's a lot about our vehicles.
Right.
So what we can do there, maybe we can't change every vehicle to an electric or a hybrid, but we have to start again. We have to start somewhere and start looking at where can we change and start looking at that. And maybe other things too, like smarter route planning and use remote guarding to limit call-outs with the cars, etc. So not just changing from a fossil fuel car to an electric car. We can do other things as well.
Right. And I know that we also help a lot, like turning off the lights, right? And electricity. I think that's really cool too. So seeing that, as part of our the service we offer, like how we help in that sense. So it's really connected with the focus then.
Exactly.
Pick where we can help.
Exactly. And it's part of what we do for our clients.
Yeah. Cool.
And then we have the 5th focus area.
Yeah. And that's it's called ethical conduct. So that's sort of business ethics. It's anti-corruption. It's fair competition. It's conflict of interest. And that's we're a responsible company, and we have a high level of integrity, and we're never compromising with our values, like we talked about in the beginning, or the business ethics. So this is really important for us. This has to happen every day, everywhere in our business.
Yeah.
So that we're actually building now a special function and organization for the business ethics compliance.
Cool.
And we also now have an internal audit function.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And finally, community involvement. What are we doing about that?
Yeah, we are doing a lot.
Cool.
But out in the countries and locally. And we're doing really great things there. But I think we need to look at, or we're trying to find out more about what we're doing locally to see if maybe we should have a joint theme for the whole group, or working together with a certain partner, external partner on this. But that's a project for this year.
Right, but maximize the effect we have together.
Yeah, exactly. And again, going back to what we talked about in the beginning, we're part of society, and we play a very important part in society, and we're close to the local societies where we work.
Yeah.
And so we should really use that in our community involvement work as well.
Great.
All of this sounds really, really great. But what's next? What's the next step? I mean, we have the 6 focus areas. So what do we do now?
Yeah, going back to what you asked about before, Carin, the targets.
Oh.
So the board has asked us to suggest targets for each focus area and also make 3-year plans and come back to them later. I think it's June or July with our suggestions.
Lots of planning happening then. This is amazing. I mean, just getting to know a little bit more of what we're doing in such an important topic, being such a big company as we talked all through the podcast. Thank you, Cecilia, for joining us in this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.
But it's not over yet.
No, it's not. Oh, this is my favorite part.
Yes, it's not over yet.
No.
We have the connection game.
Yay.
Do you know about the connection game?
Yeah, I've heard the other podcasts.
Okay, so we know you know the deal. We're gonna say some random words, and you say the first thing that pops in your head, when you listen to them. So I'll start.
Oh, good.
The first word is garden.
Flowers.
Oh.
Any specific flower or like colors?
Red roses.
All right. I love those too. Classic.
And then I will say languages.
Love them. I want to speak them all.
Nice.
That's good. How many do you speak?
3. Okay. And then I understand a couple more.
Nice.
That's interesting.
It's always cool.
That's really cool. And the last word is tennis.
Good game. Nice sport. Like that one too. A lot.
Okay. You
Play
practice.
and to watch.
Play
Okay,
and to
cool.
watch. Okay, good. Who's your favorite player
Right now.
that is playing at the moment?
Yeah.
That is not,
right now, well, always Rafael Nadal, of course.
Okay.
And then I have a new favorite, is a young Canadian
Okay.
called Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's really cool.
Okay.
Ooh,
Cool.
check it out. I don't
Mhm.
really watch or play tennis, but you learn something new in this podcast
That's what we
every
do.
time. Cool. Well, now we are officially done with this episode.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, and hope we can have you back at some point when we can actually talk about those targets.
Yes, that would be
Exactly.
great.
Right?
Maybe part 2 coming up.
Yeah. Good one.
Thank you so much for listening in, and see you or hear from us on the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.